What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about The Strangers. So this was a first time watch for me. Um, it was on Tubi. It was leaving in a couple days, and I actually picked up the sequel a while back. I was just randomly at a Dollar Tree, and you know I saw the sequel, and you know when I when I see horror stuff at Dollar Tree and it looks decent, I gotta pick it up. Plus, I knew of the first movie, so I was like, oh, I'll pick up the sequel. Of course, I haven't watched the sequel yet because I haven't watched this first one. But yeah, I basically watched this because I had the sequel. I'm like, it's on streaming. Might as well watch it so I could watch the sequel. I'm pretty sure the sequel was direct to DVD and it came out like 10 years after the first one. But I a lot of horror sequels are direct to DVD, and I don't have a problem with direct to DVD sequels at all. I actually um, like a lot of direct to DVD sequels, so you know it is what it is. But anyways, in terms of my overall thoughts of this movie, I was not a fan. I thought it was pretty lame, pretty boring. There was quite a bit of stuff that I liked, and early on I was actually pretty into it. But as the movie went on, I just really lost interest. Yeah, it was not my thing. So with that being said, I'm going to give you all a very brief plot summary here, just an overview. So um, you have this couple, and they are coming back from a wedding. They're going to this vacation home, and while they're at the wedding, uh, the uh, the boyfriend proposed to the girlfriend. She turned him down, so while they're at this vacation home, there's this tension, and the boyfriend is about to get uh, picked up by his buddy later in the night, who's played by Glenn Howerton, who, that's Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so that was crazy. I have like a little note in my notes about him. I'll get into him later, but yeah, that Dennis is, Glenn Howerton's barely in the movie. But anyways, this couple, they're staying at this vacation home. The guy is gonna get picked up by his buddy. It's late at night. It's like 4 in the morning. While they're staying at this vacation home, um, there's like a knock on the door by this girl, and there's these three individuals. They start creeping around, and they eventually break in the house, and they're terrorizing this couple. So that is the basic plot summary for you all. So getting into some stuff that I liked about this movie. Like I said early on, I was into it. I thought it was very creepy, very suspenseful. It's more of a slower paced horror film. It's a slow burn, and I like that. I like that it just had an eerie feel. There wasn't too much going on. It wasn't action packed, but it just had this eerie feel, like, and the fact that they're isolated. They're mainly at this. Well, yeah, they are pretty much at this house for mostly the entire movie. So you don't see any other people. They're isolated, and the fact that, you know, of course it's not their home. It's a vacation home, but when you're home at night, that's supposed to be a sanctuary. That's a place of safety. That's a place of comfort. It's like like if you go out on the street at night, there could be trouble. There could be something lurking in the shadows. But like I don't know, there's something scary about home invasion, so that was scary. And then there was just an eeriness, sense of suspense, like when you did like start seeing the I'm just gonna call them the strangers or the killers. When you started seeing them, you'd only see them for a little bit. You didn't see them too much, and when you did see them, they were just creeping in the shadows. They'd be standing out in the window, then they're gone. They'd be like the way that they were lit, the way they would just enter the frame. It would be really dark, and you would just see them, and then you wouldn't see them, and they were stalking this couple. They were like really like stalking their prey like an animal. So I really liked that this was a slower burn movie, and it was really creepy. Like I was actually a little freaked out like during the beginning, and it was actually slightly scary, which sounds like I'm a wimp, and I know I watch a lot of horror movies, so it's like, why are you scared? But that's good. Like I love that. Like I got that scared feeling, which is always fun. Which sounds crazy that I say it's fun, but if you know, you know what I mean. It's like that's part of the entertainment value. So yeah, the first two acts were decent, but the third act I wasn't a fan of. Even the second act I started to not like as much. I just feel like the movie, it was slow, and it had this suspense which was good, but it didn't really build into anything. Like I don't know. I don't know. It didn't really go anywhere in my opinion. It was like anticlimactic in my opinion. Um, Another random positive. I didn't think all the masks were that cool. Um, like the women, they just had these like plastic masks. Those, they just look like some dollar store masks. But the the one gentleman, he had this sack head mask with a smile on it. That's an awesome iconic mask. I really like that. Like I said earlier, you had Glenn Howerton, who plays Dennis in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He was barely in the movie. I didn't think he was going to be in the movie that much. I didn't think he was going to be a main character, but man, he was if you it was this type of situation, if you blink you miss it. He was barely in the movie. And it was crazy seeing him. I don't think I've seen him in another role besides um, you know, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So this was the first time I've seen him in a role outside of that, and it was the first time I saw him in a serious role, and it was like weird. I was like, what? Like he did a good job, but you know, I'm so used to him being Dennis, so that was pretty darn crazy. Another random topic. Initially, when the couple gets back, the boyfriend, he's sad because his girlfriend, she didn't want to get married, and he's down in the dumps, and he just gets like a giant thing of ice cream, and he just starts eating it out of the container. So, I mean, I thought that like when you see that in movies, it's usually like a woman who's doing it. I've never really seen in a movie where a guy gets sad and he's just eating ice cream out of a container. But I mean, maybe guys do that. I don't know. But I was thinking, I see that in so many movies. Like someone has a breakup or is sad about something, and they immediately go for the ice cream. It has to be ice cream always. It can't be another comfort food. It can't be chips. It's never chips. It's never candy or whatever. It's always ice cream, and it's always straight out of the carton. These fools can never get a bowl. Like, is this a real thing? Like, when people get sad, do they always just automatically get the ice cream? Has to be ice cream. Has to be out of the container. I've never personally done that when I'm sad, and I see this in countless movies. So I mean, it must be based off something, but I don't know. If anyone comments on this video, like, when you're sad, you just get a giant tub of ice cream and just start eating it, because I've never personally done that. I think that's some Hollywood trickery, man. That's some BS. Ain't nobody does that. Quit playing, man. That's it's fictional, straight fictional. Speaking of fictional, I mean, this movie is inspired by true events. We'll get into that later, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of movies in this era. This is 2008, so like a lot of movies in the 2000s and the 2010s, they would always say inspired by true events, and everyone's like, dude, you know, it's like a real story. The whole movie, it's 100% beat for beat true story. It's not fictional. This is real. This is real. This really happened. Like, inspired by true events. Like, read it. Like, it's not. It doesn't say it is a true event. It's a recollection of a true event. It's inspired by true events. Every movie pretty much is inspired by true events. I could say that about any work of fiction. Like, get out of my face with that. But we'll get into that. I mean, I pretty much said my piece about that. But inspired by true events. Come on, man. Get out of town. But anyways, I told you all, I didn't really like the third act. The third act, they're just being pursued by the killers, and it's so drawn out. It's not really engaging, in my opinion. I was tuned out at that point. And I was kind of waiting for this movie to end, which is not a good thing because the movie's only an hour and 25 minutes, and I was just like, I had to keep pausing it, and I was like, how many minutes are left? Because the third act was just that. It was like supposed to be the big climax. It was the big pursuit, the big chase. You know, the killers are trying to kill the victims, the protagonist, and I was just like, when is this thing gonna be over? I don't know. It was like too little too late. It was like it had the slow burn, and then eventually it's supposed to get action packed, but I feel like there wasn't enough action. There wasn't enough going on. And then I'm getting into spoiler territory here, but the protagonist, the way they're, yeah, so I'm gonna say it again. Spoiler territory. If you don't want this movie to be spoiled, tune out. All right. So I warned you. The way the protagonists are killed, I feel like was so lame. It was so, like, I keep using this word, anticlimactic. It was like, we're following these leads the whole time. They've survived this far, and then it's like they literally just get stabbed in the stomach, like, quickly. And that's it. There wasn't, I don't know. It wasn't, I mean, I guess there was the whole pursuit, which was, went on for a while, but like, they're just tied up, and then they get stabbed, and then they die, and that's it. I don't know. I feel like they should have had a more like grandiose death. Like, that was lame in my opinion. And then, I know this is like a famous line from this movie. I saw it in the trailer. I feel like I did see this trailer back in the day or at some point. I don't know. But that, oh, well, like, why are you trying to kill us? 'Cause you were home. I don't know. I mean, maybe some people think that's cool. In my opinion, I thought that was kind of corny. I wasn't really messing with that. And then you got like the final jump scare for the last frame of the movie is like this BS jump scare, and I was like, I said it out loud. I was like, what, man? Are you seriously just gonna end the movie with that jump scare? Like, I was like yelling at the TV. I wasn't really yelling. I just said it in a relaxed, normal tone. But that jump scare was not it, dude. Like, come on. That was played out in 2008. That whole jump scare thing. Like, get out of my face. I've said get out of my face 50,000 times in this review, but whatever. I mean, that's how I feel. And then I did write this inspired by true events thing. I was talking to this girl at work the other day. I don't know how we got on the topic of horror movies. Maybe because it's almost October, but we were just talking about horror movies, and one thing led to another, and we were talking about the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I think it's 2003. I hope I'm right, but the remake, we were talking about that, and she's like, it's like based on a true story, blah blah blah, and super sweet girl. I like her. She's a super nice girl, but it's like, man, like I always, whenever I'm chopping it up with people about horror movies, and it's like a movie that says like inspired by true events, so like they say it's like based on a true story, like it's not, it's like loosely inspired by true events. It's like the writer looked at some real life occurrences for inspiration. Pretty much every horror movie, like Wes Craven was talking about when he, like, the inspiration for Nightmare on Elm Street was this kid who he like died in his sleep in Asia or something. So like every movie is inspired by something real. You don't. It's not like movies like creativity is just, it is like some box where you just these ideas don't come from anywhere. Like everything is inspired by something, if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm not like articulating myself well right now. Like it's hard to put what I'm trying to say into words, but I don't know. Like I'm not trying to hate on that girl at work. She's super cool, but like that just made me think, like, because I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, yeah, it's just like loosely based. Like I wasn't like arguing with her, but I'm like, yeah, it's just kind of like loosely based on true events. Like it's like loosely inspired. It's not a true story. It's still a fictional story. So I don't know. I don't know if movies still do that, but for some reason it just irks me when movies say inspired by true events, and it's just like a marketing gimmick, and then people actually like just fall for it, where they're like, it's a true story. It's a true story. I think this movie is like based off the Manson family, and it's clearly not a movie about the Manson family. So it's not a true story. It's a work of fiction. It's just loosely inspired by true events. I'm like ranting at this point, but I don't know if movies have to, I don't know if movies still do that where they have to have that as like a selling point of the movie, as like a marketing gimmick, like inspired by true events. It'll be movies that are like clearly fake. Like I think like even like supernatural movies where it's like a ghost story. I mean, some people do actually believe in ghosts and supernatural stuff. That's totally cool. I personally don't. So for me, when a movie that's like has paranormal aspects says inspired by true events, it insults my intelligence. I'm like, quit playing with me, man. Like, just why do you have, like, sell the movie with like a tagline about the story, or about like say it's like the scariest horror film, or say it's the goriest horror film. Don't say this inspired by true events has got to go. I hope movies, like, I hope they stop doing that. Maybe they do not do that anymore, but I don't like that whole inspired by true events thing. I feel like I've talked about this point for like quite a few minutes now, and I'm just rambling at this point. But anyways, I pretty much went over everything in my notes, so I'm gonna wrap things up here in a second. Yeah, this movie, in terms of would I recommend it, I would not recommend this. Like I said, it had some stuff going for it, but it was just lame. I don't know. I was just not a fan. I would not recommend it. There's so many other good horror movies. Even if this isn't a straight up horror, if it's more of a suspense thriller, there's way better suspense thrillers out there. I would say skip this one. This is not it. So with all that being said, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.